Good morning, YouTube. It's Dana, and I'm back with another video. This week we've had a few cold snaps where I live, and actually it got below freezing last night, and so we had freeze warnings in my area. Well, if you have some tender greens outside, like your lettuce that you have really been putting work into, and you have a whole bed of it, you want to try to keep it for as long as possible. So a good way to keep your tender greens protected from frost throughout the winter typically is to use sheets. It's a cheap way to do it. Of course, you can do other things that are a little bit more expensive, but if you're just getting started and you're trying to save money, just use some old sheets. Ones that you're going to throw away, check with your neighbors. If it has a rip, you can always sew a hole in it, but just cover your tender greens with some sheets, and that will help protect them. Pick a temperature that you're kind of feel good about, and I usually pick about 35 or 36 degrees. Once it gets below that, I will cover up my lettuce, and that will keep it safe all winter. I typically will cover it up right after sunset, and then I will make sure I uncover it after the sun comes up, because you want to make sure that it can still get that sun that it needs to continue to grow. But of course, once the sun comes up, you still want the temperature to be above freezing. So if it's about 35 degrees, then I would take that cover off and just hang it up over a fence or on your clothesline to dry out to use for that evening. As you can see, there's frost on the ground this morning, but my greens are saved because I took the time to cover them up last night before I went to bed. And this is how you protect your tender greens when there's a frost coming. These blankets are applied, or I actually put them on right after sunset, and I waited until the temperature was above freezing this morning to come and take them off. That way, my greens will be safe, and I can typically kind of keep them most of the winter by doing this. This is what my greens look like, or my lettuce looks like after I have taken off that sheet. As you can see, they are nice and soft, no crunching. And they have been saved from that frost last night. So if you have some lettuce or something that cannot tolerate a low temperature during the winter and you want to try to save it for as long as possible, get a sheet and place them over it right after sunset or before the temperature drops below. I usually use as my point about 34 degrees or 35 degrees. Because my garden is in a low-lying area, I make sure to cover them before it gets too cold. Because of course, it's colder the lower down it is. So if you have some greens that you would like to keep as long as you can in the winter, find some sheets, find them anywhere you can. I will usually ask my neighbors if they're getting rid of old sheets, because you don't care if there's a hole, you can stitch it up. That doesn't even matter. They can have like those little peel on them, the little round peely things that we all hate on our sheets, because you're just using them to cover up some greens. You're not trying to lie on them. You can also think about getting them from, and I just actually discovered this, my massage therapist, they go through a lot of sheets and they simply throw them out, once they're not good for their customers. So if you know a massage therapist, ask, let them know if when your sheets are old and you're getting ready to throw them out, I'm going to give you my phone number. Please give me a call and I will come and pick up your old sheets, because all you're literally going to do is just cover up your garden with them. I hope that helps. Thanks, YouTube. Have a really good day. Get out and vote.